Look at this pile of junk. Well, today we're putting rockers on. Well, we're going to attempt to put rockers on. We'll see how she goes. It's definitely a little more in-depth than it is with a phone buzz two-door sedan, but we'll figure it out. So the issue I'm going to have is the center pillar. Now I wanted to get the rocker in. I might have to scab something together at the back there just so it has some strength, because my concern is when the rocker is out and I have all the floors out, everything's just going to be dangling in the wind. So if I do one then the other, I should be okay. So my thoughts are I'll cut the rocker out, which will kind of, you'll take some of the strength out, but the floor, which is still screwed and welded and everything, it will cause nothing to kind of move around. And then once the rockers are in, I'll do the other thing, and then it'll do its own. Everything will just kind of keep everything strong. That's my plan. Now at the front, very simple. Right here is where the kind of cowl goes down, so I'll cut that out. This section will come out no problem. I think I'm just going to zip it across here, kind of, a big box, because I would like to get the new rocker fitting flush. So I'll cut all that out, and I'll probably grind it or do whatever I have to do underneath. And then it goes to the back. The back, someone has already self-uninstalled, so it's got a small amount of rust. And then and this looks like it was cut out before, so I don't know how far this will go. I'm hoping this will just be able to fit in the back here. I can kind of weld that in. I did order the dog leg piece, but that's not here yet. But at the very least, I can just kind of get it there, and then worst case, I can just scab a piece of metal to this just to kind of hold it for the time being, and then I'll finish that once I get the floor in and all that. That's kind of after the fact in my mind. So that is the plan. So in theory, it should be pretty easy. Again, I mean, there's just nothing there. I'm gonna basically make that the whole front to back to be nothing there, and the inner rocker will then join onto the floors, which is all part of it. So we'll just get it all kind of tackled together. Nothing's gonna be permanently welded in until I get the floor in, but we'll buzz it good at the front, in the middle, and in the back. And then, yeah, we'll clean up, we'll drag the car over, do the other side, and then I think we'll just start, cutting all the floor out. Good times. If that's something you want to see, subscribe. All right, let's get after it. So we got a big section of junk out. On the inside here, I pulled the welder out. So before I split the floor right away from the rocker, right in there, I welded on just two little braces. Now they're not perfect. Obviously the floor is kind of miscellaneous. I guess you could go side to side or whatever, but I'm gonna be pretty careful at this point. Now I just got to cut this section out and kind of clean up the spot welds and whatnot from the underside and fit the new piece in. And I cut right on the fold line, so we should be fine. I mean, really, the door's still open and closed, so whether or not that piece was there, or really no big deal. So I'm fine with it. The gaps are as good as they were anyways, and we can always adjust it from there. So like I said, now I'm gonna get underneath the thing, kind of clean all that section out. I might take some of this floor little bits out. At the front, same thing. I just got to get in here and get this little section there out and clean up in the bottom there, get the inner section of the rocker out, and I'll get the front floor bit, all that out. This has lots of strength. It goes into the floor and the brace and the cowl. Like, that's not going nowhere. This is the only one I was a little concerned about. So yeah, we should be able to get this kind of ugly out, and then the new panel tack weld it in. And then we'll just double check the doors 85 times. And I think I have some more. This is just like 1/2 inch square. I think I got some more of that, so I can always brace the car up just a little bit. But that two-door had no issues. And I gotta think, once all the doors are closed, there's all the strength is right back in it, right? So at least those are my thoughts. Feel free to tell me I'm doing it wrong in the comments, and I'll have to fix this later, and it'll be way worse. Good times. Okay, so I got her scab together. It's definitely not permanent. I didn't do a whole lot of filming, so I didn't know really what I was going to do. And I was a little, you know, it's kind of cut by cut by cut. Now I got a pretty good idea, so on the other side, I do a whole lot more filming and kind of step by step. But ultimately, she's in there. We got a pretty decent gap. I mean, not that there was much before. Actually, there's enough of the back that I just kind of welded her in there. It's actually, it fits behind, so it actually worked out pretty good. So I just kind of gave it a couple of buzzes, nothing too crazy. I do think the post twisted just a little bit, so I may have to just kind of put a little bit of push into it while I put a few more welds. But ultimately, the door still fits and everything. This front door was a little tight originally, so it still needs that adjustment. Now it needs a little bit more. The back's fine. I mean, it's in there. You can see it still got, there's no strength to it. So I got to figure something out there. I think once I get them both in, I might just weld a bar across or something like that before I put the floors in, just to kind of hold it a little. I'm not really too sure. It's definitely the sedan had a lot more strength in it than the like the two-door, I should say, than this. But I mean, it's in there. The doors open and close. What more can you want? I mean, this, I don't know, it's close, I guess. The door looks like it could go up just a little bit, but that could have been how it was. Again, I didn't touch anything at the front, so that shouldn't have changed. And the fact that the back door closes mint still, I don't know. So yeah, that's all I've done. I mean, it's just got some real ugly tack bolts holding it together, but it's probably going to get a few more, but nothing too crazy, because I do want to make sure I get the floor in and everything's all good before I go too crazy on it. But yeah, I started blindly cutting out the floor and everything because it was just so ugly in there to get to. But I'm happy with it. There's definitely a lot more strength in it. I can, I don't have any more of this, but like I said, I got to get something to kind of strengthen it up just a little bit. But I don't think the car's going to have to go up nearly as high as it did in the two-door. Because this one, I should be able to actually pull the whole steering box right out of it, maybe? So if I do that, then really the whole floor can just slide right in real easy. Definitely a 4-post lift, or 2-post, I should say, would make this job way easier. But it's doable in a garage. Small garage at that. That's where I'm leaving for right now. Supper time and then live stream time. So hopefully we'll see you in there every Saturday night, 7:30 Central, live stream. Be there. And I got a little cleaning up to do and crank the heat in the garage, all those things before we get on that. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Well, it's the next day. Not much has changed. I did do a little bit of cleanup. I rolled the car over, so I got some room on this side to work. And that's about all I've really done. This door always kind of opened crappy. It was like kind of usually to slam it. And this door doesn't even latch. Something's broke inside the door, but the door gap is fine. That's all that really matters. I went ahead and I welded in the little braces to the floor. And I actually put this in. I just had some junk steel. So I went just side to side just to kind of hold it. I don't know. I'm overthinking it or what. But that rocker is in, just kind of like, you know, showed you, just tacked in there. And we're going to do the same on this side. Once that's in, we'll just do a little screw around with the doors. Make sure they're happy and they kind of latch and all that stuff. As long as they're good, then we'll blast out this entire floor. And there's going to be a lot of cutting because up front, I mean, it's pretty mangled on the toe boards and all that. So we'll do a little whoop-de-doo. Try and keep around the tunnel as much as we can. Blast that out, all down the side, all up around there. And yeah, we got to take the little seat mounts and stuff out. Move everything to the back. Bit of a yard sale in there. So yeah, that's how she goes. This side has a little more meat underneath on the rocker at the back. We should be able to get in there and get it tacked. That's got to take off a couple of sill plates. I'll go from there. So I'm going to get set up and we'll put the laps up. And we'll start ripping this thing apart. Alright, so we got the rough cut. You can see everything's on the ground there. The post, like, it still has lots of strength. So we're all good there. That's working out. So everything is out. Now all I gotta do is get in on the underside. This is kind of tack welded or spot welded in. Rip all that junk out of that post, and then a little bit right at the front. Not too bad. I gotta finish cutting out the front mount. And then we can test fit in the other rocker, which is very simple. Because if you take your time to get everything out of like the post and the bottom of the A-pillar, and the back being, it's all, I mean, there's not much there, so it just slides in. Then you literally just weld it. I mean, the factories are all tack welded and stuff. I'm just gonna kind of seam weld it all the way around, and she'll be fine. So I'm gonna clean up. I'll get the last little bit of the front there out, and then we'll start fitting that panel. I believe I hardly did any trimming. I literally just trimmed the front of it, just a small amount. So it's a nice panel. Gives lots of strength. And then once we get that in there, and I'm happy, I think I'll just start blazing the floor out. Nothing else to do. Well, I managed to get all the little bits out. So now this is this little trim piece. It's actually, you can't see it's loose. I got everything out from underneath that. The front, I got most of it out. There's still just a little bit there. We're all flush right around the end so we can weld it in. And the back, well, I didn't do much on the back, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, the door's stiff. There's nothing there for a clearance issue. All I did was I folded the floor up just by hand so I can fit it in. So I'm gonna end up welding to the A and B pillar, and then back here I'm probably gonna end up, I don't know, welding something with some scrap. So this is kind of how it's gonna work. The sill, this is, it's the wrong side, but same idea. So the sill has the lip, or the rocker I should say, and that's gonna go to the top of the floor, and the bottom, so we'll do little pinch welds, we'll just plug weld it in. So that's where it gets all its strength, and it ends up boxing itself in once the floor is in. And not that we had much of that strength anyways, but that was my concern, so I'm hoping we'll have enough. But again, the door's still, there's no issues there, no sag, we're not moving around, I'm happy with it. So if I can get that rocker in, I'm going to leave that brace in. The only thing we're going to lose is these two little ones here, which are going to be going to the floor, which, what are you going to do? There's not much else I can do about that. So yeah, I'll get that fit in real quick, and we'll put a few tack welds in. Then I got to clean the junk out of the back, and then it's giant cuts of floor coming out of this thing. Good times. Man, you got to make a mess to fix an old car. Alright, well, I guess fitment's all kind of relative here. The nice thing about these 6 and 7 rockers is they're very simple. They're just a couple of easy bends. 55 had a goofy little thing to it. So, I mean, really, as long as it's flat across the doors, front and back, you can do whatever you want with. So you can fill that with weld, body filler, and all that. Be golden. So, all I kind of did there was I jammed in what was left of the rear sill, which is really ugly. And we're going to line up the front. Put a few welds in. Once I get it tacked in, I got to go grab some vice grips. Probably should have done that first. Okay, so the rocker's in. The door gap on the bottom doesn't look too bad. I just have one tack weld. I got to put a few more on the side and underneath. This is where the fender bolts on, so that's all fine. Now, the door fits not bad at the top. It's got a bit of a gap here, so it needs a little bit of screwing around. But again, that's how the door fit anyways. The back door's got a nice gap, and again, it doesn't latch, but it's good. So I think the post is probably in the right spot, and this door needs a little bit of adjustment because this door didn't fit for shit when I got the thing. But anyways, so we got it all in. It's just tack welded together. Now, if we ever want to move this post, once the floor is in, everything's welded together, have all the strength back, we can then mess with this post. Because as you guys know, to do a two-door swap, you just chop that right out and it's irrelevant. The car doesn't move at all because it has all the strength from the floors and the rockers and all those things. But right now, there's supposed to be a brace here. Well, there is. I cut it. That joins the rocker. A brace here joins the rocker. A brace here joins the rocker. Well, that's all gone. So now we're just kind of in the breeze, and that's my concern when we're going to lift the front end of this thing up. The real problem is at the back. There's just absolutely nothing there to weld to. So I'm going to weld a few things, just some of that bar across to hold it, and then store stiff. You know, somewhere maybe I'll tuck a bar in the back because I got to replace this piece so I can zip it, go from the back and then into it just to hold it, so it'll have as much strength as we can get into it while we're cutting the floor out. And then again, whatever, we'll wing it. I don't think it'll fold itself in half anyways. A lot of strength in the roof and all those sort of things. Again, when I had it lifted, when I was doing the 56, I kept all the doors shut. So I mean, that once the doors are shut, it has way more strength as well. So that's what we're doing. I'm gonna put a few more welds in this, and the next time you see me, I'll have everything kind of cleaned up, and we'll probably start axing the floor out with the with the plasma. Get those big chunks in the back of the truck, and then be done with the video, and the next one will be putting a new floor in. Just that simple. Oh, you guys are gonna like this. So I welded on a little steel there, a little steel in there, and look at that. Basically factory, just sitting in the wind. I'm gonna get the floor out. I gotta decide, this is not, I'm not cool with that. So what I'm actually hoping, well, I'm thinking I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna cut the whole floor out. When I did the other one, I think I cut like right there. So I'm gonna do about the same. So I'll be able to run a piece of steel from the good floor I'm not gonna touch to the rocker, maybe. I don't know. Wish I could talk to you guys live sometimes like this, because it would be trying to come up with all these ideas by myself. Yeah, I am a smart man and all, but yeah. Okay, so everything cleaned up, everything's in the back. We're all good there. We're gonna chop out all the floors in big chunks and call her from the night after I get to breathe in all this nasty old stuff. Good times. well, as you can see, we got one pile of floor, two piles of floor. Door's still open nice, so that's a win. We got so most of the floor out. Now, I thought I'd go a little further, but I stopped. I don't know where I'm going to go back here exactly. I got to screw around and get these seat mounts out, which isn't really the end of the world, but I probably should do some measurements and stuff like that, just so I know where they're going to be. And it's all covered in seam sealer and all that, so I'll do that tomorrow. Zip it across. And then the front, same thing. I got to decide, I got to get the toe boards out, kind of mark them up. I don't want to go too crazy. I want to keep as much of the tunnel as I possibly can. And see where they're going to be. Because ultimately, I got to get the floor in, then I can kind of mount those toe boards. But that's that. This side I actually want to put a few more spot welds in, or tack welds I should say. But it's not going anywhere. Door's still open and closed. I'm happy. I've cleaned everything up. That was an ugly job, not going to lie. So I'm going to call it for tonight. I'm not really feeling it anymore. And I'll do it tomorrow. And after tomorrow, we should be done all the real ugly stuff. But yeah, I gotta do that. And actually, I just forgot. These are those, the mounts. They're also a body mount in the front, but they're a rear motor mount. So I'll cut those out tomorrow as well. Because I can get, you know, for sure I'm cutting up at least there on the toe board, which I can get to the whole thing. Zap that off, dress it real quick, make it look kind of pretty, at least on the top. I can get to the sides after. Yeah, finish her up. And then I can start getting the floor ready to slide on in, which should be fun. We only have a couple of days left of good weather, so I want to give her, because I'll probably have the door up, screwing around, trying to get the floor in. Put the crane out, get Danny to help me out a little bit, and yeah. Once we get her set in, then the pressure's off, and you can kind of start bolting it down and give it a few welds, and we're not driving her down the road, so it'll hold it all together. Get that situated, and then I actually think I'd like to get the front end together, so I can have it sitting on the suspension, just because that's how the car is going to be. Like right now it's sitting on the rear end and then just on a set of jack stands on the chassis. So I think if it's on the suspension with the, you know, it's not going to have a motor in it, but it'll have the weight on it. And then that's how we should set the floor in, the doors and all that. At least that's my thoughts. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah. See you guys tomorrow. We'll finish this off. Next day, back at her. I stopped by the welding store. Got some new lenses for my helmet, and I actually got some tips for the plasma. Now I had a thought last night, so I got some more angle. Here are my thoughts. So I gotta chop the rest of the floor out, like I said. So I'm gonna do that right away. I'm actually just gonna blindly cut this right out, because on the other floor I cut it right here. So that's what I'm gonna do in the other one, because it's all solid back there. So I'm just gonna zip across there, undo those cab mounts. Oh, there must be one more somewhere. I'm gonna leave the rear one in. Then what I was gonna do is, with that angle, is weld from here to there, or you know, somewhere around there. Do that, make a little triangle thing out of it, and then I can always brace this again, because this is a little flimsy. So I can either plate it with some more angle or do something. That way, that to that will essentially be the same as that to that. It'll just add to it. I am concerned about this thing twisting. It's just so much weight and stuff like that, and I really don't want to break any glass or lose any fitment and all that as much as possible. So that is what I'm going to do. That. Okay, I'm going to get the plasma set up. I'm going to get this all kind of dialed out, and I'll bring it back one more time. It should be quick. I'm just going to get this done in the next kind of hour, and we'll end this video. I think I got enough footage for the floor being gutted. And really, there's no right or wrong way to do it, just how I'm doing it. Well, I guess there's a wrong way if the car folds in half, but I think that'll have enough strength, and then we're done. I'm going to immediately start the next video. I'm going to prep that floor to go in, and yeah, see what happens. I'm thinking it'll be fine. Well, there we have it, guys. So I got the remaining section of floor out with 2 more body mounts. There are just 2 more left, which are easy to get to. Where I sliced it, I gave it about 3 or 4 inches from where I'm gonna probably put it in. So the other floor, I'm gonna run a zip cut across right in front of the mounts. So I'll have that 3-inch span. So when I cut it out, I'll just come out the bottom and we'll flush weld that in. Here's my little bracing. Pretty rudimentary and crude, but I think it'll be okay. So that's for in this video. On the next video, we're gonna start just by lifting it and see what happens. If it needs more strength, I can always gust it, you know, in or whatever I gotta do. But it's already a pain to get in and out of here, so I'm hoping the less I can do to get the floor and be the best. So that's where I'm leaving this one. Hopefully it was a good one. It's always fun chopping a car up. This thing is apart. This is like the worst time ever to be at for a hot rod, because if you ever had to sell it, it's essentially worthless. No front end, you can't even move it, no floor in it, no nothing. But we're gonna jam hard this week, put out a few videos. I mean, the floor will be in tomorrow, I'm thinking. It'll be the next video. I'm gonna start that right away, so I like to try and get it set in tonight, maybe get it a little welded in tomorrow, get that going, and then I want to put the front end right back together, so it's back to being a roller. And I did get motor mounts for this thing, but I don't have a transmission yet, so that is another ongoing issue. But that's from ending it. I'll see you guys in the next video.